Woo woo!
Welcome and good morning, everyone, to another day of Talent Talk. We got with us today your boy Steve, and with me my guest co-host.
That is me, Davina Clarity. Good morning. Happy Monday on this. What is the date today? The 12th of July, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I know.
We're like past halfway here.
We are trucking through 2021 like crazy, and the summer is, I don't even want to say the summer's halfway over. I feel like we're just getting started.
I know it feels like that, but it's been so busy and just time is flying. Even this whole year, 2021. Oh my goodness.
I know. Yep. So Jurgen is not with us this morning. He'll be on next week and on for Friday's market update. So, hey, Jurgen.
Jurgen, he's on the road.
So today we're going to be talking about paint and design, and we'll have a special guest to join us. But in the meantime, we have a trivia question that we usually talk about that's related to the subject matter, right? So
that's right. We've got the trivia question. Always kind of leads into our guest, and I'm excited to have the guest on because she's got some like great ideas and just some good stuff for us. So the trivia question that we have, and if you know the answer, drop it in the comment section. But is what are the primary colors? What are the primary colors? So the answer is your multiple choice here. We have as A, green, violet, and orange. B, black, white, and brown. C, red, yellow, and blue. Or D, teal, amber, and magenta. Now, I got to tell you, when I first saw the answers, I had it wrong because I went with my favorite colors, but they weren't necessarily the primary colors here.
How do you know?
Because
you know what the primary colors are. Okay, we should know this, right? Pat says C. Hi, Pat.
Hello, Pat. Good morning.
You had like black. Okay, so there's black, white, and brown. Right? Those are my primary colors today. Anyway, so
that is all up in my color palette right there. Yeah. The black, white, and brown, the darks.
Yeah. So we're going to get in, and one of the things that we do at Talent Talk is we talk about, we definitely have a guest on each week, and we talk about something that's relevant within our area. And we also want to get your feedback. So if you want to participate, obviously in our trivia question, or if you have any questions, then definitely our audience can definitely put them in the chat as well. So we are going to bring on, like, totally honored to bring on this gal. Like, she's definitely a friend and she's amazing. She is a homegrown from the Northwest and has lived in locally all of her life. And gosh, her story, the way that she started her business and is really just completely passionate about what she does. She owns a business called ET3 Paint and Design, and we are welcoming our owner, operator extraordinaire, Emilee Torres.
Hi. Yay. Good morning. Hi.
Good morning, Emilee.
Good morning. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited.
We are excited to have you on, and thank you for accepting the invitation.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so as we're talking about, paint and design, that's like a very general subject. So as your local business owner, can you talk to us a little bit about what is ET3 Paint and Design, and actually like ET3, what does that stand for?
Yeah, ET3 stands for mine and my daughter's initials. So my name's Emilee, my oldest daughter is Emelina, and my youngest daughter is Eliana. and our last name is Torres. So when I started my business 4 years ago, it was kind of one of those instant things. We'd already kind of gone by this nickname, the ET girls. And so when I was saying, okay, I'm going to start my business, it was ET3 had a good ring to it, and it flowed with what our vibe already was. So said, okay, I'm going to be ET3 Paint and Design. And I started it off as just painting, but I put the design in there even 4 years ago, knowing that this was the direction I was headed at some point. So
I love it. There's that personal touch behind that name. The ET3.
Cubed. She's cubed.
There is. Yeah, it was, and I wanted part of what I wanted to do is I wanted to leave a legacy for them. I wanted them to feel a part of it. And, sometimes I do have to go to work with mom. So then they feel a little bit of pride in the fact that the business is named after them.
Nice. So Emilee, you've been in business for about 4 years now, you said, correct?
Yes. My own business. Yeah.
Nice. How did you get started?
Well, I was a teacher when I was a little girl. I had an amazing teacher. I didn't have the easiest home life, so I was one of those kids that my teachers took special interest in me, that they were a big part of my life. And so I just decided at a young age I was going to be a teacher, and I followed that path for many years and didn't really question it ever. And I was about a third of the way through my master's degree when my girls' dad and I ended up getting divorced. And then as a single mom, I found it a little bit challenging to stay in the teaching role and be in school. And I took a summer job as a painter, and I didn't expect it, but I loved it. And so I worked for another painter for a few years, and I was up north at that point, kind of more in the Bellevue area. And then when I came back to my hometown, more, I guess, of Olympia, Lacey area, I started my own business.
Very nice.
So here you are. So 4 years ago, started your own painting business, and so your business is paint and design. So when we talk about design, what is design? And we in the real estate business, we know about staging and such, but when we're talking about design, what is the difference? Can you school us on what is the difference between staging and design, or is there a difference?
Yeah, I think there is a difference when you're talking about staging as far as real estate, or showing a home, or even we have a big market now for Airbnb and things like that. Any type of staging in that, to me, is something that it's going to be visually appealing to the masses. So you're going to want people, pretty much anyone, to be able to go into that space and then creatively envision themselves in that. So you're going to want to use a lot more neutrals and pieces that anyone could sort of visualize with, and it needs to be visually appealing, but not, I think, not too bold or over the top, where it's going to take away from someone imagining themselves in that space and being able to go into their own mind of what would I want to put here? Mm-hmm. And then with design, I feel like it's almost the opposite, where you're going to want to go in and get to know your customer and find out what their needs are, and then really go off of what their own loves are and what brings them joy, and what do they need to have organized, what's going to make their lives easier. And then that's where I think you take a little bit more risk with something a little more bold, if that's what they're into. It can be geared just towards that person's needs and personality. And so I think when it really comes down to it, staging is almost a depersonalization of a space, while design is personalizing it.
Okay.
I never thought of it that way, but that's that makes total sense.
Well, because if you think about your real estate customers, when they're getting pictures and they're trying to sell a home, you don't usually have a ton of like family photos or, you know, very personal things because you're taking pictures that are going online and things like that. And so you are depersonalizing the space because you want to sell the home, or if you're with a customer that's trying to buy a home, you want them to walk in and be like, yes, I can picture my family raising my family here. And I think that's easier if you don't have, someone else's family, everything in there. And then going in and designing something, then you're saying, okay, how much, I want to put a bunch of personal touches in here. Like I've done some offices, and even though it's an office, I bring in people's personal loves and, whether it's family pictures or whether it's plaques and awards that mean a lot to them. Then you just want to create that really warm, comfortable, personal space.
Nice. So, we're just kind of coming off year of 2020, year of the pandemic here. And there's a lot of people staying at home, and even still up to now. What were some of maybe like the top spaces that someone wanted to refresh or redesign, that maybe some requests that you got?
The number one over and over has been a home office. That's been the biggest thing, is so many people started working from home all of a sudden. And then a lot of people transitioned to doing that permanently, found out they can work remotely and don't need to go back into the office. And I still have tons of customers and friends and family that even with businesses being reopened, they're still working from home, or they're working from home, 3 days a week and going into the office twice a week, something like that. And so that was my biggest request was home office space, because there was, a lot of people had like a office in their house, but for some people it kind of only got used a little bit before the pandemic. And so a lot of other like family stuff would end up in there, and it wouldn't be a space cohesive to getting work done. And so it's really nice to go in and, usually with me, it does start with changing your paint colors, but then from there going into organizing and what's going to be practical and what's functional, so that your life is easier working at home. And one big thing that I've found too is that we do so much via video now and Zoom and that type of thing that it's really nice for customers to have a nice background behind them. So that's one of my big focuses when I'm doing an office is, okay, where are your Zoom calls happening, and what are we going to put behind you that you like? And then after that, it was probably, kitchen, living space, because so many people were home with their families more than ever before. And then outdoor areas. I'm currently working on a huge exterior home and yard overhaul remodel, with all the landscaping and some changes to the exterior of the home, because a lot of people are wanting to hang in their backyards with their kiddos.
This is definitely the time. So you're talking about designing space, and then I'm like looking around me like, oh my gosh, like I need some help. So just take me for example. So I should say, take Steve. What would you do for him? Okay, so if we were, your client, reaches out to you and says, gosh, I really need some help. I don't want to go into my office because it's just everything is everywhere. Like it's not that cohesive space to get work done. Before you design a space for someone, like what does that look like? So if you're going to do something, say for me, and I call you, how do you know what I like, or what colors I like, or what things I like, and what my space should feel like?
Well, the first thing that I always ask is to be able to see the space. That's the number one. I have to see the space, and I have to see what I'm working with. Um, and then the next thing that I'm the most passionate about is what I love almost more than any other part of my job is I love getting to know my customers. I'm I like to talk. And so when I go and meet with my customers, I know some people get bids done in 20 minutes. I'm usually there. I usually count on about an hour because I'm going to talk to my customer. I'm going to get to know them and, what do they love? What do they not love? And, I love doing that, whether it's over a coffee or lunch or whether it's just hanging in their space and getting a feel for it. But I need to get to know the customer and the space equally. And once I've found out from them, what their needs are, I make a list of, okay, what are you already working with? What do you want to change? And I like my customers to be involved in some ways. It's like you're hiring me so that you can just go about, your business and just get it done. But I also like them to take some ownership and know, okay, if they're wanting a reading area and I know I'm going to put chairs in there, I'll pick a couple and I'll say, okay, which one do you like the most? So that it's not just like me choosing what's trendy. That's not why I'm here. It's about what my customer loves and what's going to make them comfortable. And when they walk into whatever space it is they're having me work on, that's just kind of like this, I love being here.
I love it. So the clients even have some input and some ownership in the design and working with you.
Yes.
And putting it together. It sounds like you do like everything. I mean, you mentioned the small reading area to something large as maybe a whole kitchen, an entire office, or even a whole outdoor living space. What type of budgets do you work with in terms of maybe something small to something large?
I really work with any budget. The reality, of course, is that I'm running a business and you have to have at least a budget to, have me make some income and be able to maybe bring in a couple new pieces and things like that. So, there's got to be a little bit of thing to work with, but it doesn't, you can redesign a small space on a small budget. And then you can completely overhaul a large space with a large budget. So it all just depends on what you're doing and what you're working with. And I think in some ways I'm a little bit different in that way, is I don't just, when it comes to design, I don't really just throw out a bid. It's more about, what do you want done? What are your priorities? What is your budget? So that, we can go for maybe one big piece is going to transform a whole space, or maybe you already have your big pieces that work. And so we're just going to add, new paint colors and a couple small things that are functional and are going to change the space. It all just depends on the customer and what they're looking for and what they want to do.
Awesome. And there you have at least, I know you have at least one fan. Clorinda messaged, said, "Whoop whoop, Emilee is so good," and thank you, Clorinda. So, power to you. We love you.
We love you, girl.
So with, and this is really good because I'm actually, designing versus staging and personalization versus depersonalization. And you're incorporating all of these things into basically one package. And then I hear this relationship theme that, really resounds with us, because that's what we do, is we build relationships and actually helping our clients get to a goal. And then, it's not just the one and done. We want to, the community of being able to help them along the way and in a lot of other endeavors that they have. So just thinking about, okay, single mom, right? Because we talked about that. And I don't know if that was single mom. small business owner, and now, wanting to grow. And of course, on the heels of going through a pandemic where people really during that time, had kind of gone, not doing much, but then as we're back in our homes, or, things are picking up. What is it that you've really seen as a challenge for your business in particular, being a small business owner? We say a mom and pop, but just a mom.
Yeah. No pop.
No pop, just mom.
If I'm being totally honest and transparent, it's gonna probably, other than COVID, would be financial challenges. I mean, there's really, really busy seasons, and then there's really, really slow seasons. And as a single parent, that can be a bit of a challenge, and it can be somewhat hard to budget when you don't know exactly what, it's not a paid per hour 40 hours a week type of job. So I guess that can be a challenge, and I've had some close friends and family members during the off seasons and the struggling times that they've said, well, why don't you just get a regular job? Like, why do you struggle through, winter and stuff? And for me, it's just been knowing that I love what I do. And they say that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Right. And so I love it, and I'm passionate about it, and it makes me happy. And so I've just never wanted to give up on my dream, regardless of that challenge, because, I believe in what I'm doing. And at the end of the day, at the end of the job, when I see how happy my customer is, that makes it all worth it.
That's awesome. One of the things I love about what you do, it's the painting, the design could really transform an entire area and give a whole new feel and vibe to something. So you're creating a whole new experience for that client when they move into that space. So that is awesome. So you started this business with the focus on commercial and residential painting. Since you've incorporated design as a focus of your business, what's your vision for your business?
Well, I think painting was just the beginning for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love the challenge and reward of transforming a space. And I think because I've been a professional painter for over 7 years, I think painting will always be a part of that. And it'll always be something I love. My family jokes that the paint store that I use is my second home, because I love just going in there and hanging out and choosing paint colors and talking to the staff and the customers. So, and the cool thing about paint is that sometimes when someone is working with a smaller budget, sometimes you can completely transform the space with just painting, and then maybe a couple small changes in the arrangement of the room. So, and if you choose your paint colors wisely, it can open everything up. And so it'll always be something that I think I do, whether it's on a small scale or a large scale. But my hope for my business is that it reflects my passion about this, is that, it just starts there. And from that point, my customers are going to trust me with, the designing and organizing and managing and transformation of the whole space at the end of it. So I really do love what paint does. So that'll always be, I think, special to me.
She has a special relationship with paint.
I do. It sounds funny, but I really, really love paint.
We need to get you a T-shirt. I love paint.
I know.
What does that mean?
Move
so
forward.
Yeah, with that, before we wrap up, I want to ask just a question in regards to, since you've been doing this, if there's been any one job or experience that has stuck out to you.
I feel a sense of pride with every job that I finish. But the really special ones are the ones that I get to do for friends and family and see again. And I've had certain jobs that I've done where, it just really changed a space for a family and made them happy. And so those are really special too. But I think my most special job will probably always be my church. My church in DuPont opened a couple years ago, and I painted it, and it took a few months because I did it in between other jobs I had to work on and things. But it was a very, very large space, but it just is, it's a special place to me. It's my community, it's my family, and I'm there 2 to 3 times a week. And so when I get to walk into that space, it's not necessarily like I always think about the paint, but when I'm there, it does always feel like something that I helped build, something that I helped create. And, and my faith is really who I am. Aside from being a mom and being a business owner, my faith is huge. And so when I get to be in that space and I get to see other people changing their lives in that building and knowing that I got to be just a tiny little piece of that, it'll always be incredibly special.
Wow. That's legacy right there, right?
Right?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay. Emilee, thank you for taking the time out and coming on the show. We really appreciate having you on. But before we let you go, if someone was interested in, taking advantage of your services and wanting to do some painting, wanting to do some designing in their home, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Definitely, phone call or texting or email. Sometimes because I do a lot of the painting myself still, like if I'm on an extension ladder, I'm not going to answer my phone. It's kind of a safety
girl
thing.
power right there. Girl power on the ladder. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And normally I don't look like this. Like this is me put together to say hi to you guys this morning, but I'm normally covered in paint.
Emilee, what's your phone number, email address, website if you have one?
Yeah. My phone number is 206-841-1536. And my email address is et3paint@gmail.com. And my website is et3paint.com.
Okay. We'll definitely get that information posted up
Awesome.
in this chat here and on the video. So that way everyone who sees this is able to get a hold of you, reach out and kind of touch base and make that connection with you.
Awesome. I appreciate that so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Emilee, for joining us. The information is out in the link, so we will, or in the chat. So yeah, definitely just hope, just supporting you and rooting for you that your business grows. We do have, before we let you go, we actually can do our trivia question answer. We have that here. What is that question?
What are the primary colors? And Emilee, give us the answer. We have A, green, violet, and orange, B, black, white, brown, C, red, yellow, and blue, and D, teal, amber, and magenta. Emilee, what is our answer?
Okay, well, the real answer is C. It is red, blue, and yellow. But for me, my answer is teal. That's my primary color.
You know what? People have asked me, "What's your favorite color?" You know, because they want to buy something, and I'm like black. Like I just am attracted to black. I love
It's
other
hard to go
colors.
wrong with black, though.
No, I heard black makes you look thinner, so I think that is probably the main reason.
Right? Well, that's why all women have a little black dress.
Right? So, no, awesome. Well, thank you so much again for joining us, Emilee, and
Thank
have
you.
a wonderful rest of the week. And we look forward to talking with you again soon, getting an update on how things are going.
Awesome. Thank you,
All
guys.
right.
Thank you,
Bye. Happy
Emilee.
Monday.
Happy Monday.
Have a
Happy
great
Monday.
week.
What a great guest. What a great
Yes.
story.
So great. So sunshine, full of just love.
Yes.
Of who she is. So we have some things that are going on within our John L. Scott talent group. Just an update on what's going on here before we actually go home.
Right.
Before we go home, we're just getting the day started. What are we talking about?
We're just starting, right? Getting the day started, getting the week started. It's been busy out there too. So it's nice to see. We've got lots of stuff going on here at John L. Scott as well. We do have a career night coming up. It's going to be on Tuesday, July 27th. So if you're interested in finding out what it takes to get a real estate license, how much it costs, please go to our Facebook page or our web page, and you could register for our career night. You'll find it under our calendar. The next thing that we have coming up is going to be our weekly business meeting for our John L. Scott brokers. We have a special guest coming in who's talking about financial planning and building for a solid financial future. So for our brokers out there who's interested, and even if you're not a broker with our office, if you're interested, let us know. We'll get you invited to the meeting. We'd love to have you there because we're talking about, planning for your financial future. And that's going to always be of a benefit to anyone out there, any brokers out there. Also, this coming week, we have a shred event coming up July 24th. So if you need some boxes and paperwork shredded, check out our shred event. You can find that on our Facebook webpage, also on our office webpage.
Yeah, it'll be that July 24th is a Saturday. It'll be at our Olympia office from, I believe it's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So bring your stuff, decluttering and cleaning, redesigning your space, right?
Boxes and boxes of stuff. Okay. Also, this Friday, we have Forms Friday from 9 to 10 p.m. We're always learning about new forms and how to use them for real estate brokers out there. Also, this Friday, we have our market update with Jurgen and Davina, and they are going over what's going on in the real estate market. They're covering new open houses coming up this weekend, new listings coming on the market, and just kind of a good overall perspective of what's going on here within our local Pacific Northwest and surrounding counties. So always good stuff.
Yes. Bless you.
Bless
you. Like, how'd you do that without moving your lips?
Throwing my voice out.
You good. All right. No, but this has been great. So we will be back again next Monday. And again, along with all of the opportunities to connect during the week, just really appreciate an opportunity to do this every week. So I know we weren't here the last week, so we've been missing you. So so good to be back. And we end our broadcasts and our meetings every day with those two words that mean get out of that comfort zone and do something bold, right? So let's go on 3 with the big repo. How about Emilee's still in the back? Let's bring Emilee back on, and because she has been really bold with her, just life, right? Stepping outside of that comfort zone and just doing things that that get those hairs raising on the arms. So Emilee, we basically every time we we close a meeting or a day, we say be bold. And so if you could count us up or down, and on 3, we're just going to go be bold, and then we'll be on with our day. So can you do that for us?
I can. I'm happy to.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
1, 2, 3. Be bold.
Be bold.
Yay.
Be bold, baby.
Be bold.
Make your bold moves. Thank you.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.